This is BVI Channel 1, where we tell you the raw truth. The kind of truth you will not be getting from the secular media. Since the death of Queen Elizabeth II and the declaration of his son, King Charles III, as the new king, there had been protests, not just from African nations, where the impact of colonization is still biting hard, and that of other Commonwealth nations. There is also a growing protest from inside Britain. And this protest is asking question: is Britain actually practicing democracy? Now, I want you to listen to this very brief analysis, and you will be shocked by the kind of thing the secular media is hiding from you.
Several people have been arrested in the UK for protesting King Charles and the monarchy.
This is not a march of thousands of people who've turned out and stopped traffic. This is individuals who turn up, occasionally with signs, pieces of paper, and are just silently or very quietly protesting their opposition. And yet, they're still being heavily repressed with a speed and swiftness that has been shocking to everyone who's witnessed it, whatever their position on the political spectrum. In Edinburgh, one woman who was arrested for breaching the peace held up a sign saying, "F imperialism, abolish monarchy." That was it. She was arrested. She has now been charged. In Edinburgh as well, a man was arrested for heckling Prince Andrew. And all he said was, "Andrew, you're a sick man." Not disruptive at all. Yet there's video footage of him being dragged away with a brutality that seemed to shock people around him. And in Oxford, someone called Simon Hill was arrested for simply saying who elected him when King Charles was proclaimed the new monarch. People are protesting the monarchy in the UK for the simple fact they believe in republicanism, the belief that hereditary monarchy should not be a thing, that people are not born to rule over other people simply because they have magic blood or, it gets passed down to the next person. These arrests of Republican protesters represent further implementation of an assault on freedom of speech that's been happening in the UK for a long time. We're currently also grappling with the legacy of the Policing Act, which came into force this year and was brought in by Boris Johnson's government. It cracks down on all forms of protest and really narrows what protest can be. If you're making a noise, then you're causing a disruption, and the police can limit the amount of noise you can make, where you can be, what you can do. Single people protests are now prohibited under certain conditions. And even though some of the very worst parts of this bill were chucked out, they're trying to put that back through in the form of a new Public Order Act. What it says about democracy in the UK, that single people have been arrested just for holding a sign, is what people should have realised about democracy in the UK a long time ago. It's not functional. Our brand new Prime Minister was elected by just 80,000 people. That is not democracy.
There was no general election for Prime Minister after Boris Johnson was ousted before the end of his term. Liz Truss came to power after being elected internally by Conservative Party members.
The fact that the UK has managed to uphold this idea and project this image of itself as a bastion of democracy is ridiculous. And what we're seeing now is the truth of the matter, that dissent and freedom of speech are not things that have been prized in the UK. They are not traditions in the UK.
Good. Somebody will come and tell you that Britain is the pinnacle of democracy. Whereas these questions and this suppression of the voice of the ordinary people is happening at the face of the world, and everybody is keeping mute. Yes. We were told in Africa, we are taught in the school that democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Now, with the monarchy system still strongly observed and operated by Britain and some other superpowers, you start asking questions. Are they truly democratic countries? When we are taught the tenets of democracy, and some of these superpowers are posing themselves to be pinnacle of democracy, that shows the height of hypocrisy in the system. Now, some of you may say, oh, they do practice democracy. Their prime ministers is being elected and the rest of them. Now, let me tell you something. Some of you may not know the powers of the monarch. As we have it today, King Charles III has the powers to single-handedly remove the prime minister. The prime minister elected by the people. So you ask yourself, where then is the democracy? And the question of who elected the monarchs, or just like what you've heard from the analysis of the video you just watched, the questions are coming in a simple terminology anyone can understand. This is a modern society. When they came to Africa, they stripped Africa their norms and values. They stripped Africa their civilizations. They stripped Africa the kind of governance they had, which is the best. For instance, from where I come from, Igbo land, we are Republicans. And I can tell you that democracy started from my homeland. A system of government where the people are well represented. Where no one assumes the throne to overrule other people and everybody is subject. Where everyone's voice is heard. Where no man dictates to all. Where everyone is equal in the society. A system of government that we can say is the best when it comes to democracy. Go and study the pre-colonial administration of the Igbo people. You will understand better. I'm not here to teach you history. I'm here to expose to mostly Africans to understand that democracy is relative. It should come from the people. I am not condemning their own kind of democracy if they call this one their own kind of democracy. But let them not hide under dictatorship to pose as a democratic nation. That is just what I'm trying to highlight. And we should start looking inward and stop this copy and paste kind of life we have in Africa. Everything the West do, we copy in Africa. Especially the kind of leaders we have. If the world says stand up, we will all jump up and stand up, whether it suits us or it doesn't suit us. It is time we Africans start reasoning properly. But it begins with political emancipation of Africa. Because I can show you that African countries never had true independence. All they had was paper independence. They never even had the political independence because the West still influences corrupt politicians to continue manning Africa so that through them, they'll continue milking Africa. Africans never had economic independence. Have you asked yourself, the world, they will give you grant for things like how to do with health and the climate change, but they will not give you grant to build industries. Have you asked yourself why? Because they don't want you to rise. They don't want you to grow. And that is why I am a Pan-Africanist and a political activist, an advocate for good governance. It begins with having the right people in power in Africa. That is the bottom line. So when you are looking up to the Great Britain and other superpowers, be rest assured that they are not better than you. It's just that you are looking down on yourself. Africans, wake up. become Africans truly by first being patriotic to Africa. Start rebuilding your nations, especially in Nigeria. Nigeria is a colonial contraption. Yes. Now, we must take responsibility to ensure that we free ourselves. But that will begin with political emancipation from within. So Nigerians, please do not say you are not interested in 2023 election. Be part of it. Your emancipation starts from there. And other African countries, do not antagonize against each other. Like what we are seeing in South Africa and other places. Start building walls that will protect Africans from the Western powers and not fighting among yourselves to destroy yourselves. That is just the message I am trying to pass. I'm just a voice. I've delivered this message. Please help me share it. If you have your opinion, drop it on the comment section. I'm signing out. Bye-bye for now. Don't forget to subscribe. Stay safe.